Sooner fans, Longhorn Nation, welcome to episode 220 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, the rivalry just got a little spicier this week when Oklahoma signed Parker Livingstone to an NIL deal to come play for the Oklahoma Sooners. Texas fans losing their minds. It's been a rough portal for Texas so far. However, you did sign Raleek Brown, but we're going to talk about this Parker Livingstone thing first. Oklahoma, lots of takeaways and additions as well. But this is classic rivalry fodder. Parker Livingstone coming to the University of Oklahoma. Kevin, I told you on Sunday that you lowballed Parker Livingstone. I told you that you tried to get him to agree to the hometown discount. Now that he has left, now that he has signed with Oklahoma, are you willing to admit I was right and you were wrong?
No.
What?
I wasn't wrong. How did we lowball him? We offered him what we thought he was worth. It's very simple, John. Again, I told you it's very simple. Texas has a valuation of their players. Parker's number was what it was. He wanted more than what he got offered at Texas. The hometown discount. You have to pay to retain your players. They put a valuation on them. They offered them to them. They're not going to go above that.
Do you honestly think that Oklahoma was going to pay above market rates for Parker Livingstone? Do you think we went out and said, oh, we have to have Parker Livingstone, the second receiver out of Texas, who
He's the best receiver on your roster, John?
Not if we keep Isaiah Satania. I think Isaiah Satania is a nice player. He was a very nice player for us. So I disagree with that as long as we have Satania. Now, we lose Satania, we start having a real conversation.
He's more talented than Isaiah Satania.
Well, that's good. Hey, that's good for Oklahoma. So I don't want to necessarily argue it that much. My point is that Oklahoma's not overpaying. That's not their modus operandi. Their modus operandi is to find deals, to find market value where it's available. So Texas comes in and says, we're only going to pay you $500,000, and he leaves. Oklahoma's not going to go crazy to try to get him. I mean, they were competing with Indiana. But who knows? You think Oklahoma paid him $8?
That's what I've heard. I don't know. Listen, I don't know if it's true. That's just what I've heard. Who knows? Either way, switching sides of the Red River is weak.
Real quick, Oklahoma would expect to get a little more from their $800,000 from Parker than they did from Jaden Ott. I think you'd agree with that.
Yes, you've seen it, and and Jaden Ott was coming off of a couple of injury-riddled seasons at Cal, right? So everybody assumed he would just get back to the way he was before that. Again, we don't know what the heck happened with him, But with Parker can play. Hands can be a little unreliable, but we all like Parker. He was very popular amongst the Texas fan base.
This is probably a no-brainer question, what I'm about to ask, but I want to hear it from you. Texas fans' thoughts? I mean, on Parker Livingstone no longer playing for Texas, playing for Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, it's weak, man. It's weak. It's a weak move, man. Switching sides of the rivalry, you would feel the same way, right? And at some point, this is just how it is in college football now. The loyalties that we have as fans, clearly all players don't have that, right? It's just it's a different landscape where players could switch from literally going to the main rival. It's almost unheard of.
Kevin, I think you know me after, we've known each other since 2017, 8 years.
Yeah.
9 years. Done the podcast together for 3.5 years now. And I'm not doing jumping jacks over this. It's odd.
We've
that.
talked about this for years.
You know that.
Like, we don't want the precedent of our players going to each other's schools.
No, it's weird. Now, look, he starts catching passes from John Mateer. You know me. I'm going to be the biggest.
Of course, yeah, you're going to support him because he's now a Sooner. You're going to support him. It's just.
But I can't celebrate him coming to Oklahoma right now. Now I celebrate the turmoil it's caused in Texas because that's fun. Like there's been some enjoyment in Texas fans going, losing their minds and saying, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And real quick, let me just stop you there. I want you to remember that feeling for when eventually at some point there is going to be an Oklahoma player who transfers to Texas. At some point, could be this year, could be 5 years from now. It's going to happen. So I just want you to remember that feeling when it goes full circle, because we are going to come right back on it.
And that's why I'm being really clear, right? That's why I'm saying I'm not celebrating it. I mean, I'm celebrating Texas being miserable. That I can celebrate Texas being miserable pretty much any day of the week. This just happens to be the sense of misery I'm celebrating today. But it's just odd. It's odd. It's off-putting. I do not like it. And you think about like in the pros, both in basketball and in baseball and football, they're so reluctant to trade within the division because they don't want to face the guy. I feel like we're never going to get the rules that this sport needs in terms of transfers and stuff. But my God, there shouldn't be transfers within rivalry schools. There's just,
I know, it's weird, man.
If Oklahoma and Texas, let's use Oklahoma. If Texas and Missouri and Ole Miss are our rivalry schools, there should not be transfers within those three schools. It just shouldn't happen. It's off-putting. Y'all haven't had an A&M to Texas transfer, vice versa yet, have you?
No, I don't believe so. There's no one I can think of.
So we've had a couple go to Oklahoma State. Most recent is the Jacob Sexton went to Oklahoma State. Gavin Freeman went to Oklahoma State. He's already back in the
downgrade. So, y'all aren't equals like that. Y'all rivals, but not equals.
Well, especially right now. Especially in the Big 12.
Oklahoma State is probably bitter about the guys that you've gotten from there. Trace Ford, and of course Daniels last year, who was really good.
God, he was great. He was so good.
And I've liked him since the recruiting process.
I would have loved to see what he could have done in a Brent Venables defense after a couple 3 years. Because that's what you see. That's a real thing. That a Brent Venables defense takes time to learn and develop and understand and then execute, especially at a high level. And you see that with the guys that have been there a while. Now, interestingly enough, we're starting to lose a little more of that. We signed the linebacker out of Michigan, and then we lose.
Good player.
Okay, give me a compare and contrast, okay? So we signed Cole Sullivan, Michigan. We lose Sammy Omosigho to the portal. Net win for Oklahoma?
I mean, I think so. It just was clear towards the end of the season who Brent Venables liked at linebacker. The rotations got tighter. We were seeing Omosigho less, and you were seeing Kobe McKenzie less. He was sticking primarily with Kip Lewis and Owen Heineke. You can see that that's just who he preferred out there. That's who he trusted, and he's big on trust. He's not going to put you out there, no matter how talented you are, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, if you're not going to be in the right spot, taking the right angles to the football, all that. That's really important to him. So even though Omosigho is a superior athlete when it comes to compared to someone like Owen Heineke, the fact that he trusts Heineke, that means a lot to him. So, I mean, it was clear, again, he's a rotational guy and he's a talented guy. And I think he's going to have a lot of people after him in the portal. But, I think you guys will be fine with Sullivan out there for what Brent Venables wants.
Okay. Sullivan in. Is there anything we can read amongst the tea leaves that indicates Kip Lewis is out? Or they don't feel good about Heineke's, waiver? Or is this just we need linebacker depth? we think
Yeah, I
this
think
was a
you
good
see
one to go
you
get.
see the depth, right? And Brent Venables, his priority is to improve the roster, maximize the roster. Sometimes, guys get their feelings hurt when we talk about Texas. We're going to talk about that a lot. Having difficult conversations with players about where they stand on the depth chart and what their perceived value is from the school, right? And but I don't know. It's getting to the point in this portal where guys just aren't patient. They aren't willing to stay and wait their turn. But again, maybe he just saw where he stood, right? With
Uh,
Omasigo. It could
I'm
be it
not.
could be money too. Maybe he got an offer. Maybe somebody look, these guys have agents now, right? And people say there's tampering, whatever. These portal things are being worked out during the season. Their agents are getting calls from other schools. They're getting offers. Hey, this player's making this. We can pay him this. So who knows with Omasigo? Maybe he got a better offer somewhere, or maybe he just didn't like where he was at in the depth chart.
Look, I'm not. I haven't seen one player that I'm mad at yet. Okay, there's not a Parker Livingstone on our roster or on our outgoing portal players yet, right?
Well, real quick, let's I want to be clear about Parker.
But real quick
We
about
weren't mad that Parker left. I wasn't mad that Parker. I was surprised.
Well, what I mean is
it's just where he ended up.
Nobody has transferred anywhere, which makes me regret. I haven't seen. I don't have any regrets yet.
Let me pull up. I'm going to pull up your transfer list for those of you that are watching on YouTube. I'm pulling up the Oklahoma's portal list, and it'll show, where guys are going and the guys that have come in and where they're from.
While you're doing that, specifically with Omasigo, though, I'm not mad at him. I think he got plenty of run to try to be the guy, and there were always just
3 years, right?
Yeah, and there were always just little things that were keeping him from, taking that next step. And to your point, I think he just got passed over, and that's okay. Go play ball somewhere.
Correct.
You want to play ball. Like, I know people, I know that the money is a big deal. Of course it is. But even going back to before the portal, before the NIL, when it was just being able to transfer, kids want to play. They don't want to sit on the bench. Like, you get old enough, right? Omasigo's what, 20, 21, 22 years old?
Yeah,
at some point you're like, at some point you're like, I'm not a kid anymore. I just want to play. I only got a couple years left. Or I really need, if I'm going to really chase my dream, I need the snaps to do it. I'm not mad at Omasigo. You're pulling names up. I'm going to highlight these real quick. The ones that everybody needs to hear is Zion Kearney, Ivan Cario, Giovanni Gibson, and Zion. Is it Zion Reagans? Are they both named Zion?
Yeah, they are. Uh-huh.
I just realized that as I wrote that down. All right. There are no wide receivers left from the 24 recruiting class. 4 receivers just since the last time we talked. Javon, no, was there any other receivers?
Gibson as well.
Yes. Yeah, and Giovanni Gibson, right?
Yeah, Giovanni Gibson.
Yeah. So again, this goes back to what I'm talking about with Emmett Jones, and for lack of I don't even think I'm being hyperbolic when I say zero development of recruited wide receivers.
Yeah.
0. Now, we're going to count on Jermichael Carter, and I don't even know who else. Look, if Satanius...
Parker Livingstone, I'm saying, yeah, so you're in a position now where you hope Satania comes back. But if he doesn't, you did get the Terrell Harris kid from Virginia.
Yeah, do you like that kid? What do you think about that kid?
I do, yeah. I think he's pretty good. Yeah. I think he's good. And I think he can basically replace Satania if he were to leave. And then you have Parker Livingstone, who gives you some size. And you've had big receivers, but Parker's – look, man, and we talked about this even going into last year. The receiver position was the weakest position on your entire team.
Yes.
Right? Would you agree with that? So you got a talent upgrade.
It had the biggest question mark, for sure.
Yeah.
I think tight end made an
tight end.
argument for being
True.
weaker. And no
True.
offense to Kanik, who ended up being an all SEC tight end.
Yeah, but going into the season, you couldn't rely on a guy who had been a linebacker for 3 years to the tight end. And in his credit, he did a really good job. But now you got the Terrell Harris kid. You just got more proven guys, and Parker's shown that he can make some things happen as well. I'm curious how he'll be as a focal point guy. I'm just curious to see. But he's a tall kid, 6'3", 6'4", and he can run too. He's got good speed. So,
okay, let's say it wasn't Oklahoma. Okay, so that you can take off your burnt orange glasses for a second. Let's say this wide receiver core was at Tennessee or Florida or Ole Miss, okay? And you had Parker Livingstone, Trell Harris, and Isaiah Satania. Those were your 3 starting wide receivers. Where would you rank them in the SEC going into next year?
Oh, man, that's tough because I haven't seen it. With all this portal movement,
okay.
I don't know. But it's
top
it's
5?
a massive upgrade. Oh, man, I don't know.
I mean, I think those are pretty good.
Either way, you feel good about it.
Okay,
either way, you should feel good about it. I can't rank them, but I wouldn't be upset about that. Especially where you were coming from. I would feel good about it if I'm an Oklahoma fan. Much better than last year. Like, night and day.
We do not have a tight end coach. Speaking of tight ends, let's transfer over to that or transition to tight ends real quick. We do not have a tight ends coach right now. I think Oklahoma fan is praying to the gods of college football that Jason Witten miraculously becomes our tight ends coach, which I think would be fascinating.
For multiple reasons.
Multiple reasons. I think it would be fascinating. But regardless.
Well, I mean, you get his son.
Well, no, I know. Yeah, no, I know. Absolutely.
Just explain it for our audience.
Where does he play? Where does he play ball at in Texas?
He plays in Plano. Yeah, in the Metroplex.
That's surprising that they're in Plano. Plano's not. Yeah, Plano's not the same as it was when you and I were growing up.
Yeah, but I don't think he lives there. It's a Christian school, so I don't think he.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think he they don't necessarily live there. He probably lives in Prosper or something.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's Prosper or Little Elm
Frisco, or somewhere.
Melissa, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, back to the tight ends. Hayden Hansen out of Florida. Sounds like the numbers would indicate he's a better blocking protection tight end with a little bit of receiving abilities. And then Rocky Beers, brother of current almost All-American, All-SEC player Reagan Beers at Oklahoma basketball, will be coming for his senior year out of Colorado State, who does have the tight end receiving numbers. So we've added 2 tight ends. One that's competed at a very high level in Florida and started nearly all of his games.
Yes, he was their starting tight end.
And from what I understand about him, he's a really good blocker. Has gone up against the South Carolina and their edge players, and Tennessee and their edge players, Georgia and their edge players. He
played against us too.
Yeah, so good player. Good. We're getting a proven player. Rocky Beers, by all accounts, good player. I think it's safe to say clear upgraded tight end, right?
Oh, yeah, massive. Yeah. And I don't know how good these guys are, but I just don't think they can be honestly worse than what you had last year. Right? I mean, you got just, besides Kanik, you got no production whatsoever.
No. Caden Helms, like we said in the last one, looked like a tight end, but just
talented looking athlete. Transferred to Minnesota, by the way.
Well, that's Big Ten school. It's all right.
Yeah, good for him. Fresh start. Also, Marcus Strong committed to Clemson yesterday.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
real quick, Kobe McKenzie to Northwestern, and Javante Barnes to Kentucky.
Well, again, at both of those schools, I'd like to see him do really well.
Yeah.
Jake Taylor, is that Jake Taylor, Iowa State?
Yeah.
Who's their coach right now? Who's Iowa State's coach? I don't even know.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Did you see where Penn State's taken basically almost all of Iowa State's players?
Oh yeah, Matt Campbell. Yeah, he's bringing bringing the crew with him.
Dude, he's bringing like backups.
Yeah, I mean, last I heard, yeah, they Iowa State, last I checked, had 20 players on their roster.
Wow.
This is before the portal. You know, I don't know, how they replenished, but yeah.
Look, Brent Venables made it a strong point that he was not going to poach Clemson players.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of it. There's a certain amount of integrity to it, I guess. Maybe that stunted the development of the team for a couple of years. Who knows? I don't. You know what I mean? None of us know. But it's interesting to see the complete opposite, which is I'm taking every player I can get.
I'm taking all of my guys.
Every single player that can come. I'll take the backup snapper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Also,
couple other
J.D.
players
Gibson to South Carolina there.
Interesting move for him. Kevin, if he could stay healthy, he's a good receiver.
Yeah.
I think.
He's a big, talented athlete. So we'll see. And I wish all these guys well. And obviously Michael and Malik Hawkins to West Virginia. What do you think? We talked about him in the Big 12, right? We need to go to the Big 12.
I listened back to the podcast. It's exactly what you said. And that's probably a great spot for him. Probably a great spot for him.
Be curious to see if he can win the starting job. I mean, that'll be telling right there. Can he be the starting quarterback this year at West Virginia?
A couple other notes. I want to get your feedback on some guys that are coming. Amarion Harris out of Arkansas, the offensive lineman. There's talk that he could be the right tackle day one, moving, I believe, Foje back to guard.
Okay, interesting. I hadn't heard that.
This is an Arkansas guy, right? So, again, another SEC guy, tape on him, reps, same level of competition, that sort of, have you heard anything else on him? And then the other offensive lineman is Caleb Nitta out of Western Kentucky, which my guess is a depth guy.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know much about either one of these guys. But, Jim Nagy is a guy who certainly has done his homework on these guys. So he feels like he can update the roster. But that's curious on your transfer from Arkansas, Amarion Harris playing tackle and keeping Foje in at guard. Because I always assumed that Foje would switch to right tackle this year. But
well, look, I'm not saying that, right?
Yeah, but that's just what you've heard.
I've just heard that that's an option. That this kid's pretty good. Like there
it
was
makes
some
sense.
talk.
I mean, he played guard last year.
Yeah.
Foje. So.
Yeah, there was some talk. There's just some talk that this guy is either a really good backup piece or a depth piece, or could come in and compete right away for right tackle, which would be a boost, a bonus.
Of course, yeah.
Look, man.
Well, the good thing for y'all is you are set at left tackle.
Yeah,
because that kid's awesome. He's awesome.
He's pretty good. Okay, real quick. So far, Oklahoma. I don't know what they've moved to.
Talking about the ranking.
What is their ranking? Do you know?
What is this players?
I'm gonna look it up here, see if I can find it.
Texas Tech, of course. I see you guys at 9 right now.
Okay, so we've dropped to 9 because we were at 5 for a while, right?
Yeah. And again, a lot of this is just based on numbers too. So, but Texas Tech is at number 1.
Yeah.
Texas at 32 right.
Yeah, that's about right. Texas is at 32.
32
now,
right now. Mm-hmm.
Let's transition to the University of Texas. Oklahoma State's at 2. I'm showing on the 247. OU's at 6.
Okay. Yeah, and again, this is on 3 and Rivals. So, every site you pull up is going to have different opinions. And of course, right now too, there everybody's losing more
State guy?
players.
Is that Mestemaker?
Yeah, it's got to be Mestemaker. Yeah, and then obviously Caleb Hawkins being behind that too. I'm so curious to see how these guys translate to the Big 12. By the way, Mestemaker and Caleb Hawkins.
They'll probably be just fine.
Yeah, excited to see if they can, what Eric Morris can do there at Oklahoma State, because they've gone from being a program that's always in the top 25, always in the mix in the Big 12, to just falling off a cliff the last couple of years. So we'll see how quickly it takes him to rebuild them. I think the fresh start from Gundy is exactly what the program needed. So just curious to see how that goes for them.
All right, let's transition to the University of Texas. Let's talk transfer portal and everything going on there. Real quick, shout out to Jordan Shipley. Kevin, you know, I've made no secret about my football feelings of Jordan Shipley. Him parting the Red Sea in 2008 and running directly at me. Yeah. And I swear he pointed his finger straight at me and said, "Suck it." I swear that happened. Following that, I had one of the biggest alcohol hangovers I've ever had in my life in the second half. And so I've talked about it. But look, that's all in jest. It's all in fun. Dude got hurt on his ranch working. And it looks like he's had some pretty significant burns across his arms and body.
Yeah, third-degree burns, 20 to 30% of his body. Yeah.
No joking matter. Thoughts and prayers to Jordan Shipley. Get better so I can hate you again. Is that fair?
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Let's talk. Okay, we talked Raleek Brown. This is your big positive. Okay, your big positive and your big win so far is Raleek Brown. You like him better than Trey Wisner. Let's just do strict comparison between him and Trey Wisner.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. More explosive, just more of a big play threat. More speed, more yards per carry. So yes.
Okay.
Again, I would prefer Trey Wisner to still be on our football team.
You'd like both.
I want to be clear about that. Yeah. Yes, I never wanted Trey to leave. We just needed someone better than Trey to go along with him.
What is a player comp for Raleek Brown?
He is Jaden Blue for Texas, more explosive. But the thing is, he'll have more carries than Jaden Blue, because Jaden Blue was kind of more of a speed, swing pass type guy. But he has that kind of home run like ability. That's just a quick comparison.
That's fair. Okay, break down the rest of the class. I feel like Texas fan feels like they're, at least as of January 8th at 10:30 in the morning, 10:39 in the morning, Texas fan feels like they are losing in the portal.
Yeah, well, we started at the very top of the ranking, right? Guys and we were going after guys who actually were not even in the portal. We were just trying to get them to go into the portal, right? Or hoping they would go into the portal.
You were tampering.
Of course, everybody.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
I just wanted to use the correct words.
Yeah, and I don't know even know if it's technically tampering. Agents making calls behind the scenes. If that's what tampering is, then yes, I will admit to that. So Jaden Baugh, we'll start there, running back out of Florida. New coaching staff, Texas hiring their running backs coach. Seemed like a good fit. But we always heard, we weren't sure if he didn't necessarily want to leave Florida. He loved Florida. If he entered the portal, we felt like we would get him. He never entered the portal. He met with the new coaching staff. Apparently he got a really good NIL deal. Not as much as Texas would offer him, but I just don't think he wanted to leave. So there you go. Next running back, Isaac Brown out of Louisville. He actually said he was entering the portal, but school has 48 hours from the time you request to be entered into the portal. They have 48 hours to actually enter you into the portal. They took those 48 hours and convinced him to stay. He never entered the portal. So he never got to visit, never had to have any direct contact with them because he was never in the portal. So those are the two main ones, that Texas were hoping. Cam Coleman, number one player overall in the portal. Who knows what's going to happen there?
Right? Yeah, what's the latest? Give us the latest on Cam Coleman.
Visited Texas last weekend. He has since visited Texas A&M, and now he's finishing up his visit in Lubbock at Texas Tech. Obviously, Texas Tech will likely have the biggest NIL offer. So we'll see what's important to him. Now, I've heard Texas is not going to be outbid on Cam Coleman. That's just what I've heard. So it's just, what does he want to do? Alabama's also in the mix. He's a kid from Alabama. He's also a kid that was committed to Texas A&M for the majority of the recruiting process before choosing to stay in Alabama and go to Auburn. So as of right now, I hear everybody feels good. A&M feels good. Texas feels good. We'll see. He's taking his time, doing all his visits, exploring all his options. His team keeps saying it's not just a money thing with him, but we'll see. We're hopeful, but you know, no clue what he's going to end up doing.
Okay, since we last talked, the list we had, who is added to the transfer out list for Texas?
Okay, transfer out list. Daniel Cruz, backup offensive lineman. Again, you don't like to lose your depth guys that have been developing for a couple years, but whatever. Jordan Washington, same thing, was a redshirt freshman, played last year, tight end. He's out. We brought in a tight end. Maybe he's, didn't like that. Derek Williams, safety, very talented player, coming off a knee injury last year, still getting back into form. He had actually entered the portal. But then after we bring in Muschamp, he's met with him, decided he wants to stay, so he's back in. Elijah Barnes.
Real quick. Whatever happened to the very famous Sark clip that said, once somebody's in the portal, they're dead to us?
I don't know. I don't know. No idea.
Not apply to him?
Okay. Apparently not, because he's back.
You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about, though. I'm not making that up, though. You know what I'm talking about. Sark was like very serious about that.
Correct. Hey, man, look, all this is still new, and we're learning every year.
I think it's one of those situations where Sark probably just shouldn't have said it, because why?
Probably not. Yeah, exactly.
Why would you want them? Why would you want them to be dead to you?
Exactly. And here's the thing, too. These coaches, right? This has to be so difficult for them. These coaches are used to being in complete control of every aspect of the program, right? Of player science, you have them for 3 to 5 years, and that's it. If they were to transfer, okay, go ahead and stay and sit out a year. Now you have no control. So before, when you say that, when this portal thing is new, it's just different.
Yeah.
Everything is different, right? So real quick, other guys that are out, Nate Kibble, I know, again, backup offensive lineman, actually had a chance to start this year. He's transferred to Baylor. Talked about Parker. Trey Weiser ended up signing with Florida State.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
And I think that's it. Connor Stroh to Kansas. We talked about that already. So
yeah. Yep.
Jared Gibson ended up at Purdue. Caleb Chester, again, he's a true freshman corner last year, didn't play at all. He transferred to Arizona State. And I believe that's it. Yeah, out of our outgoing guys that have happened since our last episode.
Anybody outside of Raleek Brown that really has you excited? Is there anybody that's
Bo Masco, the corner out of Rutgers, very, very talented player there. Really shined against Ohio State last year against their receivers. So him coming in, he has a relationship with our corners coach. We actually hired him from Rutgers before last season. So really excited for him. This Michael Masunas guy, just kind of a blocking tight end that they brought in. They just needed more help on the line of scrimmage.
I see from Michigan State. I mean, is that all?
Yeah.
That's classic. He's a classic Big Ten tight end, isn't he?
Yeah, correct. It's kind of like your guy,
Yeah.
Hayden Hansen. Hansen, I think, is even bigger, though. He's a big dude.
I think he's 6'7".
Yeah, massive kid. So, but yeah, and right now we're just waiting on a bunch of guys. I think, it's driving our fans crazy. Just the fact that we've had very little action so far. But I think the plan with them is start at the top and just go after the best of the best. And if you don't get them, just keep working your way down the list. There are 4,000 players in the portal, John. 4,000? There's plenty of players to choose from. And the thing is, too, when the playoffs end, right? So tonight we have this first semifinal game between Ole Miss and Miami. When that game is over, there are going to be even more players that go into the portal. And then on Friday night, Yeah.
Was it the Alabama player? Who was it that like dropped his transfer?
Portal, yeah, right, yeah, like the night
Like
of the game
10
or the next
minutes after
morning.
the game was over.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, these guys know what they're gonna do. It's already happened. So yeah, there are gonna be more players that enter the night tomorrow after Indiana and Oregon. There are gonna be more players that enter, and again, there's still a full week. There's gonna be guys who haven't announced yet that are still gonna announce. Texas is still going to lose guys. Oklahoma's still gonna lose guys.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. In a lot of ways, Kevin. Honestly, I wish I didn't have to do a podcast about the transfer portal because I would prefer to like put blinders on for a month, let everybody leave, let everybody sign, and then look at it and go, oh, okay. But the sausage being made is wearing me out. It is wearing me out.
It is exhausting. And like I said, we're seeing, if you go on these message boards, man, our fans are just melting down over. And again, like, Parker Livingstone transferring to Oklahoma is worthy of a meltdown from our fan base. But there, the lack of signing, and that's the thing I keep telling people. Right, we haven't necessarily. And it's not the player. It's that fact that we're losing players, but not bringing them in. But if you look at the numbers, it's the same for everybody. Oklahoma, you guys have 26 players out and 9 players in.
10.
Texas has 10 players in now. Okay.
Yep.
Texas has, last I heard, 21 players out and like 6 or 7 in.
Yeah.
It's like this for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So there's still time left. And we lost Jaden Ball. They were never in the portal. Now, if we lose Cam Coleman, that would suck, right? Because he actually visited, right? But it's fine. Like, we have time. What I am concerned about, though, we got to get some offensive linemen.
Texas and Oklahoma both. Texas and Oklahoma both. We've got a couple, but a couple more wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, correct. And we were in on the Michigan guys, 2 Michigan players who entered, but again, they got convinced to stay. And I think too, it seems like a lot of the top players are not leaving this year so far. Cam Coleman is different, but like a lot of the top guys are staying where they were. Yeah. And I was thinking about this too, right? It's not like they're moving a dorm room. These guys have houses now. Like, you talk about packing up U-Hauls, big U-Hauls, and moving across country. It's not like back in the day where, all your stuff can fit in your parents' car.
With some of the money they're making, their mom lives there too. Like, you know how that goes.
Yes, they
got a house. Their mom's got a house. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, so like moving schools now is not the same. So if you can get paid to stay where you are, I'm talking about just the top players, not guys who are, backups looking for more playing time. I'm talking about the elite starting level play.
You're talking about like the guys at Louisville.
But the fact
that kid stayed at Louisville to an SEC fan base is like head scratching. Like, why would you stay at Louisville when you could come play in the big bad SEC? But it's like, what are they going to pay me $200,000 more dollars? And
you're in a good situation.
All my friends are here, and I like it. And I get the ball all I want, and I'm still going to make the pros. Like, I don't know what the big deal is.
And look, if you're a college kid, if you're at a smaller school, and if you mention the University of Texas or University of Oklahoma, that's going to get you a raise.
Yeah.
Right? Just the fact that you could leave.
Or get your bluff called, one or the other.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's what's happening, too, with Texas, real quick, before we move on from the portal.
Sure.
Is that, there's a lot of money in this. All these players have agents. Their job is to get their clients more money. But what's happening, and Texas is having to have a lot of difficult conversations. I'm sure it's happening with Oklahoma and every other school. But everybody's wanting a raise, right? Even guys who haven't proven anything. That's why some of these guys are leaving Texas, is that they're going to the staff and wanting an increase despite not having anything that justifies them getting a raise.
Right.
And some guys want, hey, I want to be paid like the starter, but you're not the starter. or you haven't, just because you might be the starter by default, you haven't proven anything as the starter, right? Like, you can't expect your backup quarterback to make as much money as John Mateer does, right?
You know, when you say that, okay, because I think it's a nuanced conversation. I agree with you that that's happening. But let's take Oklahoma. Let's look at one position group just for the sake of that conversation you just had. One position group. Let's look at Oklahoma's wide receivers. Clearly, 1, 2, 3, 4 dudes left. Okay, just out. Well, 5, including Jaden Gibson. So, how? Like, if you had to break of the 5, if you had to break down playing time, I want to raise or processed out. What do you think's the story with these 5?
That's really interesting, right? And I guess I don't know if they're processing guys out of those receivers that you're talking about, but perhaps here's the thing too. All this is so new, and everybody's trying to find what the best process is because you have to pay to get guys in from high school, right?
Right.
But then at the same time, if these guys aren't ready to play, even if they're a 5-star, just because you're a 5-star doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hit the field right away.
They're a drain on your salary cap. If
Correct.
They're not playing, they're a drain on your salary cap.
Exactly. So if you've got a 5-star and it's going into year 2, you're paying this guy 7 figures and they're not even on the field. But then, you ask him for a pay cut, to take a pay cut, you demand it. And that's when the feelings start getting hurt, right? Understandably so. And then that's when guys start leaving. So it's just, all this is so new. And right now, there's no structured method to it. There's no right or wrong yet. So until it gets sorted out, guys are going to be in and out of rosters.
Let's talk about example A of what is wrong with college football. Washington quarterback Damond Williams re-ups his NIL deal with Washington to remain and be the starting quarterback at Washington, only to 2 days or 3 days later enter the portal and say that he wants to transfer. Looks like he's being pursued by LSU. Washington says, not so fast, my friend. We are going to contest your contract. We're going to tell you that you have to honor your contract, and we're going to demand basically damages if you break your contract. What's the latest in this story? And also, just as a side note, this might be gossip, it might not, but I heard that there was a death in the Washington Huskies family, like on the girls' basketball team or girls' volleyball team or something to that effect. And a majority of the coaches and players were at this funeral when Damond Williams dropped the news that he was transferring.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Which just sounds crazy. Maybe that's a rumor.
Hopefully he didn't know. Hopefully he didn't know that wasn't.
Hopefully that's a rumor. Hopefully I'm just propagating rumors. But I don't know. It sounds awful.
It does. This whole situation, it's a bad situation, right? The kid signs to stay at the University of Washington, obviously then got pursued by another school. We're assuming that school is LSU and Lane Kiffin. With what is, I'm assuming, an increased NIL offer and then an opportunity to play for Lane Kiffin at LSU. Washington's a great school, great program. LSU's a massive upgrade. So he decides he's going to take that. I don't know what should happen here, right? I think the smart thing would be for Washington just to let him go.
No.
What do you think?
Nope. You got to
make it clear.
Yeah, man, they signed a contract. Like, I think that the more you talk about things being so new, it's kind of like with the Nico thing, right? Everything's going to be a precedent. Everything is going to set a precedent. And so, look, you don't get to come to us, negotiate in good faith, sign a contract, everybody slap each other's backs and say it's great, and then 3 days later go, well, actually, I'm leaving for more. No. It don't work that way.
Yeah. I'm curious what legal grounds they have here. I'm just fascinated to see.
Yeah, I am too. But this isn't like the old school where it was a letter of intent, right? Where teams are going to hold players to the letter of intent. I never thought that meant anything. What's a letter of intent even mean? Like,
correct. Right.
I get it, you committed, but to me, that was always, hey, if the kid doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, clearly he wanted to be there.
I always felt that way. A contract, on the other hand, especially by a kid who's a junior.
And he's got representation, right? Like he has
he's got representation. And he's got an
it's not
agent.
like it was just him and his mom who don't know anything about the legal process.
And to your point, does LSU then want to buy out his contract? Well,
that's opening up a whole different can of worms there.
Well, it is, right? And then on top of that is Damon Williams, a guy who I haven't even heard of. Like, I'm sure he was a nice player. He's a talented guy.
Yeah, he is.
But he didn't he wasn't somebody that everybody was after because he's just a dude. Anyway, my point is that really what LSU wants to start doing is buying up? And on top of that, LSU, just as a side note, hasn't had a great portal class so far.
No, not so far. Maybe they're waiting on some guys that are in the portal as well. But, the Ole Miss thing, I think Lane Kiffin assumed that he can raid the Ole Miss roster once the season was over. But Keywan Lacey has decided to stay and re-up, which I know Texas was going to try to make a run at him if he entered the portal. Trinidad Chambliss, if he can get a waiver from the NCAA, has already agreed to stay at Ole Miss as well. So if you're Lane Kiffin, those are the guys that, I'm sure he was anticipating bringing to LSU with him.
Well, this goes back to that conversation we had during the whole Lane debacle, right? Before Lane finally made the move, which is, what are we really after here, right? What are all coaches and players, but mostly coaches in this case, are after is a position to put themselves in to win a national championship. That's what all coaches say they're there for. Which team is going to put you in the best place to win a national championship? And we all talked about this. We were like, okay, maybe LSU has a better long-term opportunity to win national championships. But right now, you've got a chance to win a national championship. Like, as good as it's going to get. You're one of 12, and you've got a good offense and a good defense. You got a quarterback. You got the whole thing. I look at these players, and I think the players actually get it. I think Keywan Lacey says, why do I want to go to LSU when I know Ole Miss is going to probably go 9-3 next year and maybe be in the playoff again? We might even win a national championship this year. Trinidad Chambliss goes, I've got it pretty good. Why do I want to leave? Back to your point about like the Louisville running back. Like, I've got it pretty good. Even if LSU wants to pay another. Yeah. But I'm talking specifically at Ole Miss, right? It's like, I think the player is looking at it going, well, hell, I'm in the playoffs now.
Correct.
I'm in the semifinals right now. What is materially? Yeah, and what's materially going to change between this year and next year that's not going to say I don't have as good a chance next year to be back in it? And so I think the player gets it. I think Lane Kiffin's sitting here, with his thumb up his butt. I don't know. He's whatever. That's in here nor there.
He's lame.
You want to talk college football playoff?
Yeah, let's get into it, man. Semifinals starting tonight. Fiesta Bowl, Miami and Ole Miss. Miami -3.
Look, I don't really know how to handicap these games. We were completely wrong 2 weeks ago or whatever, last week, whenever we made our picks. Just completely wrong. But our analysis was right. So I think we're good at analyzing what might or might not happen. We're just not really good with maybe picking those picks.
Picking who's going to win.
That's kind of the point of what we like to do, but that's whatever. When I look at this game, my analysis says Trinidad Chambliss is the better quarterback.
For sure.
Miami has the better defense.
Yes.
But Ole Miss might be a better offense than they faced so far this year. At least in the playoff. Let's just say in the playoffs.
Yeah, because Ohio State kind of fell apart. They shut Ohio State down. But I think Indiana gave them a pretty good blueprint how to beat Ohio State from the week before. And I think they followed that.
You look at Ohio State, and they pulled away from Michigan. But, in the game against you guys, they only had 2 scores. I think they only crossed the 50-yard line twice.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, a poor showing against Indiana offensively. And then a poor showing against Miami offensively. So, I just don't know. I think Ole Miss is a better offensive team. And I think they've got a good enough defense. Coaching matchup, Pete Golding and Mario Cristobal.
It's hard to say because Mario Cristobal.
You don't love Cristobal, do you?
Not as a game day coach, but he he's been getting it done this year.
Yeah.
Right? He's been getting it done this year. I like him as a program builder as far as recruit. I don't want to compare him to Mac, but kind of like that. He'll get you players and he'll get the infrastructure right. Just the game day stuff wasn't always great.
And he seems like the kind of guy that's probably good with the boosters.
Yeah, and he's one of them. I mean, like,
yeah.
He's a Cane, right? Not won a national championship, so he's one of them. He's at the perfect spot for him, getting everything, like you said, the boosters, getting everything aligned. But I mean, the dude beat Ryan Day in a playoff game.
Well, they were more physical too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the interesting thing about this Miami team. That I think college football fans are having, including myself, are having a hard time believing is that there's a scenario where Miami's the most physical of these four teams.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it's hard to say that because Indiana has proven to be very physical.
It's those two teams, yeah.
But, Ole Miss playing in the big bad SEC, I don't, Miami.
That's not really their style.
No, it's not. But they've proven that their style is more Oklahoma-ish with a little bit better defense, from like the late 2000 teens with a little bit better defense. Just a little bit better defense. Dude, I don't know. Where are you leaning on this? I'll let you make the first pick. Miami, Ole Miss.
I find this so interesting, right? Because like you said, Trinidad Chambliss is the best quarterback. Miami's defense has been so good at all three levels, especially up front. My goodness. They got and in the secondary, they're so physical in the secondary. I mean, they were hitting the Ohio State receivers. More than anybody else had. I think Texas covered them well, but I mean, they were just really, really physical. But man, Chambliss, what he did against Georgia in that fourth quarter, it was like he just switched into God mode. It was insane to see him do that against a Kirby Smart defense. And it's not like they were bust. I mean, they had the one bust, but I mean, he's just hitting guys in stride, even with good coverage. He's just dropping it in there and just making plays on the run. So I do like the ability for them to outscore Miami, even if Miami defends well. Right? So, but man, Miami's so physical, right? It's really hard. This is very difficult picking this one.
I'm going to say Ole Miss. I'm going to say Ole Miss wins and covers. You convinced me with Trinidad and Chambliss, but it's tough. Yeah. Miami plays really good defense. They really, really good defense.
They do. And throughout this playoff, I mean, you saw them, they shut down A&M and Marcel Reed. They completely shut down Julian Sand and Ohio State. And that's two really good teams, right? Marcel Reed's good. I think he's a little overrated, but he is good, right?
Yeah.
Shut down Julian Sand, who I thought before the Heisman ceremony should have won the award, right? That's where I was with him. Indiana shut him down, and then Miami shut him down even more so.
Okay, so who's your pick?
I'm going with Miami. I don't know. Just the defense. I don't feel good about this, but I'm going with Miami.
Oregon, Indiana is, I think, a little more straightforward argument, okay, in the sense that Indiana is the better football team than Oregon. They just are. They beat them.
The world that we live in right now, to where we can just easily say, if we watch that Alabama game, and we both pick Alabama, it is clear within the first quarter, no, these two teams are not the same.
No.
There's a huge gap in between these two teams.
One of these teams is not like the others.
And despite Alabama having the vastly superior roster from a talent standpoint, they are so well coached. I told you this 3 weeks ago. Indiana's the best coached team I've seen in a very long time. They just don't make mistakes. They are very physical, and they are very experienced. These guys are old. They got a bunch of 23-year-olds out there who aren't afraid of anything. They've seen a lot. They just don't make those kind of mental mistakes that you see from teams that are, filled with freshmen and sophomores playing. I love Dante Moore. I think he's excellent. I think he's going to go to the NFL and potentially be the number one pick. I'm still going with Indiana here. I think at this point, I just can't go against them, at least in this matchup. And they have incredible fan support too. They're gonna have more
Well,
fans there than Oregon is.
uh, here's the deal, right? Indiana's a better team. And if these two teams hadn't played each other, this would be an easy pick. And the spread would probably be bigger, right? The spread, if these two
Yeah,
teams hadn't
probably
played each other,
6.5.
it'd probably be 6.5. Yeah, 100%. But they have played each other. Dan Lanning is a good coach. His defense is a good defense. He knows how to scheme. He knows how to prepare. He knows how to plan. He's been in big games. This is a big boy matchup. I agree with you. I'm taking Indiana, but the fact that they played together is like, oh, I hate
Correct.
it.
It's hard to beat a team twice.
But I am taking Indiana.
Should be a good one, man. Should be a fun atmosphere. I'm assuming Indiana fan is going to travel in droves just like they did. Indiana fan definitely appreciates the significance of the moment here and the rarity of this moment. The way they showed up to the Rose Bowl last week, and I expect them all to be. It's an even shorter trip to Atlanta.
Well, I'm looking at the drive here. It's still 10 hours. It's still a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, a lot closer than Portland or Eugene is, though.
Boy, I'd do it. I'd drive it.
Yeah, drive it, fly it. It's easier than going, you get a direct flight there, coming from Indianapolis to Atlanta. Do it.
I'd drive.
They'll be there, and they'll be there strong.
Real quick, in other news and notes, I don't know. Did Texas play basketball last night?
That is a really good question. Well, they played this week. They got blown out by Tennessee on the road. Rick Barnes continues to torment Texas.
So you're 0-2 in the SEC now?
Yes. More to come, too. This is not a good team. And the coach, Sean Miller, it's like he hates this team. Like, he just cannot wait. No, seriously. He is so frustrated with these guys. He can't stand these guys.
It's almost like he just wants to say, stop, we'll pick it up next year. We'll call
Correct.
it. Yeah. That's amazing. Oklahoma took on Mississippi State, who beat you guys in overtime over the weekend last night. I didn't even know the game was on, and it was on the SEC network, and I settled in to watch it. And it's pretty simple formula if you want to lose by 20 on the road to a not very good team is you can't shoot, you don't rebound. In addition to not shooting from the field is you can't make a free throw. If you do that,
yeah. The only thing you need to add to that is turning the ball over, and then
they probably turned it over
for a huge blowout.
Well, I don't know what their turnovers were, but their shooting percentage was awful. They couldn't shoot the three. I mean, they were in the game, but basketball is a simple game. The team that makes more shots wins. Like, we talk about it all the time with the Thunder and other teams. Yeah, make more shots and you win the game. It's a very simple game. Oklahoma did not. Mississippi State did. Look, I don't know if it's a bad loss. I don't even know what you're in conference, what the metrics mean. They were 9-5, so now they're 10-5, and it was on the road, blah, blah, blah. The problem is, if you want to make the tournament, it's a very easy formula, okay? You win your home games, and you beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you make the tournament. I think Mississippi State probably fell in the teams you're supposed to beat for Oklahoma. And it's uphill. It's already at 1-1. It's uphill.
Isn't that crazy? How quickly, you can fall behind the pack just by losing one game. I'm curious to see how Oklahoma recovers because with Parker Moser, it took his fourth year before he made the tournament, but it seemed like you had some momentum going into this year because, after making the tournament last year. So just kind of curious to see how it goes. And what you guys think of him overall, year 5?
There's a couple things, right? In the category of things that are hard for a guy like him to control is the portal. And you just constantly rolling through players. And does that mean Oklahoma doesn't pay to keep players? Does that mean players just want to leave for more stuff? It's like at some point the portal is the portal and it sucks, right?
Here's the thing about the portal too, man, right? I think the basketball portal these kids have been transferring schools since they were in middle school, right? With AAU
100%.
and stuff. Most of these players went
100.
to 3 high schools,
Yes.
at least 3 high schools. So
Yep.
them going to another college is no big deal.
It's no big deal. And if the grass is any way greener, they take it. Now, he kept McGee, the big guy. I just realized that I thought I was on with his pronunciation, but apparently I was off. Because all last year he was Wagway, but he's actually McGee. So my bad. But anyway, we kept McGee, and he's been doing pretty good for us. Like, he's a good big. You need bigs. Dayton Forsyth can't throw it in the ocean. And I don't know if I can name another player that stayed.
Yeah. Well, your next three, you got A&M, Florida,
and
and Alabama. I mean, whew.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, conference is no joke, man.
But the other hand is I do think I've seen enough of him in late game situations. Now, last night was not an issue that I don't love him in late game situations as a coach. He makes weird timeout calls, weird substitution patterns.
Yeah.
I can't point to anything specifically. I just don't. His record in close games is not very good. I don't know. So there's like the overall program, the arch of the program. I think, you can look at portal and you can look at this, but when you start breaking it down game by game by game, then it does become the coach's issue, right? To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose games that are close, it's like, okay, where's the coaching at? Because that's going to be the difference. Right. If the talent's even, then the difference is going to be the coach that knows what strings to pull, what calls to make, what subs to make, all at the right time. So I don't know. Porter, I don't know. I think he's I think he's filling space, but I don't know. Also, other OU basketball news in the pros, Trae Young officially traded to the Wizards. Can you confirm that?
Yes. Shams reported that yesterday evening. He had been traded to the Wizards. And apparently that's where he wanted to be. He met with his representation and the Hawks to figure out a trade. And Washington became the preferred destination for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because Washington will offer him, a max extension when his contract ends. He has 2 years left, this year and next year left on his deal. So I'm assuming that's the reason why he wanted to go to Washington. You wouldn't think of a player who's a multiple All-Star like Trae Young wanting to go to a team like the Washington Wizards, who's in a full rebuild. But we'll see how it goes. They do have some talented players, Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly. Trey Johnson from Texas is there as well. So we'll see what happens. But it's a good move for Atlanta. They've got a really young, talented core who I think can make the playoffs. And they're saying they want to go after another star this year. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Is this the player we thought Trae Young was going to be in the pros?
Well, I mean, if you look at his numbers,
no, I know.
You would hope that's what you would hope he would be. But I'm not sure, how much he impacts winning necessarily.
Yes.
And I think that might be what, a criticism some might have of him is
not you. You're saying not you. No, you're not criticizing him, but some.
No,
might.
I think it's something I thought about because he's very talented, right? But the shooting's been up and down. I think a lot of people looked at him as maybe a Steph Curry like player as far as because the ability to shoot deep threes when he did it at OU. He did it some in the league, but the 3-point percentage has kind of fallen off for him over the last few years. I think he's become a mid-30s guy when at one point he was up to around 40. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. He's obviously, like I said, he's a talented player. He's a great player, multi-time All-Star, but I don't know.
And you don't know what's going on in Atlanta, right? Teams and players make. I mean, he was in Atlanta for what, 4 years, 5 years. So
year 7, I believe.
Oh, okay. So then that's fine. Maybe you're just ready for a new scenery. So this isn't an indictment on him in terms of wanting to get out of Atlanta or Atlanta wanting to get rid of him. I think that's fine. Whatever. What's telling is not that he's leaving Atlanta, but that his main suitor is a team like the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That the Knicks aren't interested, or the 76ers aren't interested, or the Celtics, or the Nuggets, or Clippers, or Rockets, or
Correct. Yeah,
see what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
the Mavericks, the teams that are typically active in free agency and active in trades and always feel like maybe just one more piece is missing. It's like mum the word on Trae Young. And so
yeah.
I think that's the bigger, not that he's leaving Atlanta. That happens. But that the Wizards, I don't know.
Yeah, again, you got a young core, but it's there's a lot of more talented young teams out there, or at least young teams that are
there's a lot of
on the cusp of being good, and I don't think Washington is anywhere near being good yet.
Well, there's a lot of young teams, but there's also a lot of teams that feel like they're missing one or two players.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of teams that go, if we just have one more player. And the fact that was not on that list of, because you would think that at this point in the season, a team could look at their roster and go, man, if we just had one more ball handler, we could make a run in the playoffs. Right. If we just had one more three-point shooter, we could make a run in the playoffs. If we just had one more whatever that is. Now, maybe he wanted a longer contract, and that's where the Wizards fit in is the contract situation. But it kind of goes back to that winning thing. It's like, yeah, but dude, go get a ring. Like, go make a run. Yeah. What you do in the playoffs in the NBA.
Legacy building right there.
You make your money in the regular season, but you build your legacy in the playoffs. You just do. That's who you are, defined as a player. And at some point, you make enough money, you want to go be defined as a player. I mean, look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is defined as somebody that could only win when he went to another team and has never won since or before. And I think that's what we're talking about, right? Is that Kevin Durant's legacy is forever tarnished because he had an inability to win games on his own. You'd agree with that, right? That's what we're talking about.
That's what you're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about?
That is not what we are talking about.
Did we have a bet on the Rockets, by the way? How are they doing?
We did. The Rockets, I believe, are third in the West.
Did I say four? Did they have to finish out of the top four?
Correct.
Yeah, that's bad.
And Jokic is out too. Jokic is out for the Nuggets too. He's out for
how long? What's up with your Thunder, by the way? 7 of 6 in the last 13 games.
Yeah, man, it's looking a little sloppy. The offense hasn't been great. They're shooting it horribly from three. They needed a Shea buzzer beater just to force overtime against Utah last night. They eventually got the win.
No, he's at Denver. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, so Utah at home took them a buzzer beater from Shea to force overtime, and they eventually got the win. But they got blown out by Charlotte at home on Monday, and they lost the night before in Phoenix on a Devin Booker shot, game-winning shot with less than a second left. So, yeah, a little sluggish from them lately, and they've got a tough go of it here coming up. They've got Miami coming up. They got Memphis, Miami, and then they play the Spurs again, who they're 0-3 against on Monday or Tuesday. And John, I will be there.
What happened with Spurs Lakers last night?
Spurs ended up getting the win.
Yeah.
Over the Lakers. I know LeBron for the Lakers. Luka was awesome. He had 37. He had triple-double, like 37 points. But Spurs get the win, and the Spurs are second. And with Jokic being out, I think they do have a chance to maybe separate themselves in the West, is what I'm hoping, and really lock down that 2 seed.
Oklahoma, are they just in a slump? Is it just that simple? They're just kind of in you play
so.
Such good ball for 2 years in a row. I mean, eventually you're
correct. Yeah, and it's lulls of the season. But, there is some things that teams are doing defensively. I think the Spurs kind of gave a blueprint for that, is cutting off the driving lanes and forcing the ball, double teaming Shea, and forcing the ball to Caruso and Dort and saying, okay, go ahead. If you can make the threes, go ahead. We don't think you can. If you make them, then we'll adjust. But until you show you can consistently knock down the open threes, And as of late, they haven't been. I'm sure at some point they will start hitting him, and the teams will have to adjust. Now, if you ask me today, who's the favorite to win the title? I would still pick the Thunder.
Okay, so don't freak out. You're not freaking out. I'm not freaking out.
No.
Spurs are doing good.
Spurs are doing great. They are ahead of schedule right now, 26-11. Again, number 2 in the West. Again, they're only a couple games ahead. They're a game ahead of Denver at 3, 2 games above the Lakers, and then Minnesota's right behind them. Houston's actually 6 right now, but like I said,
Kevin, are you freaking out about that bet?
They're not. I'm not. No, they're 22-12. The Spurs are 26-11 at the 2 seed. So we've got 3 games separating 2 and 7.
I think we can agree. I think we can agree Kevin Durant will find a way to screw it up, but that's all right.
Well, he's got a good team around him.
Kevin, enjoy the college football playoff. Enjoy the tumult that is the transfer portal. And hopefully no Oklahoma players go to Texas. And honestly, hopefully no more Texas players come to Oklahoma. It's just weird. Nobody likes it. But at the same time, it's spicing things up. Kevin, have a great rest of your week. Boomer!
Okay.